Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Todd.
Morning.
Good morning, David. I'll give people a few minutes to get here, of course.
Morning, evening, afternoon, night time.
Yeah, it's
Depends
it's,
on where you are.
it's beer o'clock somewhere in the world. What else we got? Bearded eyes. Nothing else on the interwebs. Oh, there's a
Uh,
message there on my Line account. What's that? That's right. So I did pre-release the lunch date we had on Wednesday for those people who are in the know on where to find that on my Facebook page. And of course, our Patreons and members get that as well. But that's another story. All good, all good. Anyway, what we got? Do we got Mick Herbert? G'day, Mick. How you doing today? What's up? Well, and Mark is around beer o'clock in Australia. Good morning, all. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So you've had an interesting week, I believe, Todd.
oh, really? You want me to go into
Yeah,
it?
yeah, well,
Well,
yeah.
I had the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, yeah. Well, Jerry planned a couple of days in Pattaya, and I had a few appointments, so I tagged along with that. Caught up with the crew for lunch and dinner and everything. So it's good to see the boys. I mean, I suppose it's halfway between Bangchang and
Yeah.
Bangkok. So, but yeah, as I'm just about to drive out of the house, I get like 7 instant notifications from my bank saying you purchased this, you purchased that.
Which you
Yeah,
didn't, yes.
which I didn't. So someone scammed my bank accounts. So had to put a halt on my trip north for a little bit to get on the phone for 4.5 hours to try and sort it out. But that'll be a work in progress, I think, that one.
Yeah, my Commonwealth credit card is actually locked. That actually has to show the card at presentation. I cannot do web. I've turned off web purchases and any other, miscellaneous non-present purchases. So
Oh, yeah.
can't be used for that. It's a very very handy detail.
Well, I've got the two-factor on mine, so
Yeah,
there's
but
really
it's
no way those purchases
no,
could occur.
there'll be web purchases.
No, that still has to.
Does
I
it?
still get a yeah.
Can you do a
I,
two FA on
yep.
electronic transfers? I didn't think that. I thought that was separate from the actual bank itself. But anyway, yeah.
Right. So all that to look forward to, mate.
I turned off, like non-present purchases on that card, so that can't happen. I have to do.
Yeah.
I have to present the card, at the terminal. Abby, how you doing? Good to have you along. Where's Shania? She's getting ready for going to work. She works 6 days a week. That's Thursday through to Tuesday. Wednesday's the only day she gets off. She's a hard-working Thai girl, and she's currently getting makeup and getting ready. Darling, come here. Somebody want to say hello to you. Come. I don't know. Oh, you still have towel on. Okay, don't come in. She hasn't got any clothes on. She's still in a towel, so that won't happen. Andy Struggles, how you doing? Uh, and Yak Lama, good morning all. Yes, good to have you along. You had an interesting time. You also went to Pattaya to hang out with the boys.
Yep.
Remind yourself why you don't like Pattaya.
It's a unique place, and I said it last year. Was it? Yeah, last year when we did a little trip there. It's not Thailand.
It is not.
Seriously,
It is
it's
not
not
Thailand.
Thailand.
Which is exactly what Jen was saying on Wednesday for our lunch date, and he has to agree. Yeah, Pattaya is definitely not Thailand.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Jen's wife's family has a house here in Salia, which is about 5 miles north of us. Older mood barn. He's actually asked me about the fact that when do they pick up the garbage? Because he wants to get rid of some of the, 'cause he's trying to do a few renos in the house there.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, normally, it's all part of your estate fees, your Muban fees. Like we pay 750 baht a month, which is our estate fee. That covers, all the miscellaneous, the groundskeepers, the fucking guy on the gate, and the garbage service.
Yeah.
But typically, what happens with Mubans after about 10 years, people stop paying their estate fees, and really, although it can go into a legal sort of situation where the estate can file charges, civil charges, and have those fees, extracted by other means to force people to pay. What tends to happen is you don't pay your fees, we'll just get rid of the fucking gate person and we'll stop the garbage service and let you deal with it. Right, so he's trying to work out what happens with the garbage service. Oh, well, no estate fees, guess what? No garbage service. Another mate, what's his name? He moved up to Khon Kaen, but he had a place in Rang Sit, really fairly high. So, a lot of foreigners in that Muban as well. But he was next door to a Chinese expat. Not, I think it was Chinese. I think, well, no, it could have been Japanese. He said one of the two anyway, China or Japanese. And he stopped paying his fees. And so the garbage service would come in and just fucking leave the stuff in the front of his house because he wasn't paying his fees. And it started to build up,
Yeah.
And then he just complained to it goes on. Believe me, it goes on. But yeah, and he said, what? I said, well, we've been here almost 3 years now, and I'm sure another 7 years. What am I going to do with my garbage? When they start doing that, oh, well, we're going to clong out the back and just throw it out the window, throw it into the clong. Anyway, moving right along. He said, never been to Pattaya night. Might go for a couple of days this year to say, you got to put it on your bucket list. It is definitely a bucket list project and location to visit. Look, I don't hate the place, but I can't see, there's nothing there that really floats my boat, apart from the Zenergize. I keep on saying that. If you're ever down in Pattaya, if you've ever done that, what they call, the flotation, sleep deprivation. Sensory deprivation chambers, yeah. If you don't know what those are, watch the series called Fringe. One of the guys there uses it in the Fringe series a few times. But you basically it's a tank that you lie down in a very buoyant water. It's a highly saline buoyant water. So, and it's exactly at the same temperature as the body, so you don't actually feel the water, or you do have a sensation of floating, but you don't actually feel the water. Is the best way I sort of say it. It just feels like in your mother's womb. How do you know what your mother's womb feels like anyway? We were non-copacetic at that stage. But yeah, that's the whole idea. You lie down in the tank, they close the lid, and it just goes pitch black. So you're just sitting there completely buoyant, you just drift off into other worlds. And it's really quite an experience. And they definitely sort of say, if you ever get a chance to do a sensory deprivation float tank, definitely put that on your bucket list. And there is one in Pattaya. It's up on the road coming in to the main Pattaya Central from the main road, so not too hard to get to. I did a video, I think it was video number 4 or 5 on my last Pattaya trip that we did it on. Definitely put it on your bucket list for the last time. Okay. Big meeting happening right now in the Muban regarding maintenance contracts. Yes. So, how old's your Muban, Mark? Like ours is only 4 years old, effectively. So we'll still have the niceties of a Muban for hopefully another 6 to 7 years. But the people here seem charming. There doesn't seem to be sort of anybody here with their nose at a joint with anything. We never hear any sort of ruckus or anything going on. So,
Some of our Muban, but I can't get onto the Line Discord chat group to keep tabs of what's happening in the Muban. So
Why is that?
Oh, it's linked to Australia. I
Oh,
set my account up in Australia, so to get hold of certain groups here in Thailand, I've got to delete my account, re-establish my account with a different number. It's just too hard. My brain
why
says no.
can't what they won't let your line account join the group?
Yeah, well, half of my line says I'm here, the other half of my line says I'm in Australia. So if
Hmm.
it's a Thailand only group, I don't get access.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You should mention it to turn that off for them, so you can get access to it. But anyway,
I'll work it out. It's not on the top of the
yeah, I
priorities.
suppose you've got a list of priorities, but you have to deal with that. Um, Who else we got coming in? Started 3 years ago, finished 2 years ago. Okay, so you're in a nice new one as well,
Mm.
maybe 4 years old. Yeah, so I know this. We got a little poster board up there, and they've been because of the fact that the first 2 years of your estate fees were included in your initial contract. So we only started paying our estate fees last year, and that's when the notice board went up, reminding people, and it's all in Thai, but it basically says, if you want to have the continued services of this, that, and the other, then you are required to pay your estate fees.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with it. $30 a month, you really can't complain.
No.
And they do. They keep the place clean and tidy, and everything works. And yeah, what can you say?
Yeah.
Yours is 1,000 baht per month. Okay, so yeah, we're a little bit more low-so than Mark, I guess.
No, there's a lot more maintenance. I mean, I know both Mubans, so there's a lot more maintenance in this Muban than yours. I mean, there's Mark will probably correct me. I think there's about 200 houses or something.
Oh, okay. And I suppose you got a pool there as well, have
We've
you?
got a pool
Yeah.
and a gym. Yeah.
See, we're low-so. We don't have a pool and a gym,
Yeah.
so we get to save a bit of money on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and the gate's sort of 24-hour monitored.
Yeah.
So
Well, our gate's always manned at 24 hours, but it
it's
doesn't have
400.
it doesn't have the boom gate. It's got they got gates on wheels that they slide across.
Sometimes we have the boom gate. It depends on whether the delivery trucks actually stop to wait for the boom gate. There was a period where there was about 6 weeks when I think 2 trucks destroyed both boom gates. How can you not see a boom gate? Come on.
Well,
So
it's-
they've ended up putting LED lights across, so
You can
it's
see it.
red.
Red,
Red
yeah.
means stop, and when you actually get access,
What?
they turn
Red
green.
red means stop. No, you don't. You live in Thailand. It's
I
green.
know,
Green
I
means
know.
go. Yellow means go
Green means
faster.
faster.
Right. And red means look for police. Then don't stop.
Go-
That's how it works here. Come on.
uh,
But yeah, I know what it's like. But yeah, we're quite happy with our little tiny community here. The kids wave at me when I'm out in the front yard, and everybody seems always too happy.
It's Dave saying, do you know how they got into you? No, I don't, David. Have no idea. It's
Even with the lights, they get hit.
uh, it's under investigation. It's just one of the. I mean, I'm pretty conscious of security online, but the whole thing is it wasn't accessed in Thailand. So
So you weren't even there. So they should reverse all those charges.
under investigation.
Yeah.
So it'll sort itself out. It's just another one of those things that you got to deal with.
Yeah, I've been getting, like I keep on hearing about all the bad situations with NAB because I'm now with the NAB, with the Citibank purchase. But I've had 2 phone calls with them to sort out some of the little minor details, and it was quite a pleasant experience. No hassles whatsoever. They got a toll-free number you call and all that sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm now trying to sort something out with the Commonwealth Bank to update my address details in the Commonwealth Bank, and you can't even put an international address on there. If you want to put an international address, you've got to contact them. Oh, but they don't have a toll-free number. You have to call them via a landline and go reverse charges. Who in 2024 has a landline in Thailand?
Yeah.
Where do you get a landline? What planet are you honestly living on, Mr. Commonwealth Bank? Can you just keep up to date with what's going on with technology? Oh, banks. Anyway, but I've had a really rather pleasant experience. So like, there was two issues. There's the OTP authentication when you're doing international transfers. They can't figure out what's wrong there, but they know of the issue and they are diligently working on it. So they've basically temporarily sort of put something on my account that doesn't require that OTP transaction. So it lowers my security level one notch, but I'm happy to do that until they solve it. The other one was the fact that, like I would normally get my interest payments in my, investment account with Citibank, and that came through on the 1st of each month. But they did the transfers from one bank to the other on the 24th. Now I printed out my statement on the 23rd at Citibank, and when I saw the money in the bank on 24th, it's exactly the same amount. So I said, well, shouldn't I get an interest payment? And they go on, well, technically, yes. Well, it didn't come through. I said, how about we wait till the 1st when it would normally be paid, right, and see what happens. Well, I just checked my account this morning and there it is. They put the interest payment in there as well, so it's all good.
I think the 29th of February stuffed a few things around.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So imagine being born on the 29th of February,
Yeah.
And you're 60 years old, so you're really only 15,
Yeah. Legally, yeah.
Legally, yeah. Yeah, still can't go drinking. Oh my God! No. Oh no! I do have a couple of things I wanted to Have we got any New Zealanders in the audience? Here's one. Here's one for you guys. Really, seriously, what the hell is New Zealand thinking about? Effectively, there's been I think on average a 600% increase in visa charges to come to Thailand. Like a transit visa, 200 New Zealand dollars per entry. Tourist visa, single entry, 300 New Zealand dollars. That's so if you don't want, you can go, you still get the visa on entry, what they call the visa exemption on entry. If you get here, it costs you nothing. But $300, multiple entries, $1,000. Okay, I know it's only cents in the dollar compared to the US, but we're not going to go down that path. But non-immigrant single entry, so that's the I would call that the OA visa. So that like I think it was $230 or $225 when I left in 2016, but I got the multiple entry as well. I think it was only 120 or something back then. I got a multiple entry for my first year, which I didn't really leverage at all, but I had it there just in case they called me back to Australia, for some bizarre reason. At least I didn't have to worry about visas going backwards and forwards. But yeah, a multiple 2,000 New Zealand dollars. I know it's not real money, but working holiday smart visas, 2,000. Honestly. Is this going to go across the board with every country, or is it just New Zealand being wankers?
So is it the New Zealand government that's doing that, or the Thai government, or the Thai consulate?
It's the Thai consulate in New Zealand being directed by New Zealand government, as far as I know.
Okay.
Because I haven't heard this anywhere else. I'm not going to go through all the the hate mail on ASEAN now, but that's bonkers. No, it's not a mistake. It is effective now. If you want, the consular service fees. Bizarre, absolutely bizarre. G'day, Bossa Nova, how you doing? Finally got the chance to tune in for the stream. Good to have you here. So anyway, I'm waiting the nominal 30 seconds and the time it takes for people to actually hit the keys on the keyboard. What do you guys think? What does everybody think about this? It is absolutely ludicrous. Where is the justification? Of course, the angle I'm taking on, surely, Thailand wants to have tourists and people coming here. Are they going to do something about this to sort of, because like effectively it's just saying we don't want you here, which is to do with the other two articles I've got here to talk about as well. And just what? Nobody wants to talk about it? We're just going to sit down and lie down and just take it up the sunny side of Brisbane. Yep. I don't think our Kiwi cousins are putting up fees. Me thinks it's the Thais trying to do it. Well, if it's the Thais doing it, then of course I can see this being rolled out across every consular, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. Then again, it falls into that line. Well, you got your free visa exemption for 65 countries around the world. Maybe they said, well, we don't want long-term stayers. The worst part is, are my visa renewal fees, which is 1,900 baht a year, is that going to go up to 10,000 baht a year? What the freak? Good morning, Robert. How are you? Nothing to do with New Zealand. It's the Thai government's decision. Will be across the board very soon. Also, Sydney Consulate, as of the 19th, will only deal with New South Wales residents. Interesting. Everything that they're doing right now here in Thailand is saying, we don't want you here. What sort of message is it saying? It's bizarre. In one breath they're saying, we want you to come, but we don't want you to stay. Yeah, crazy stuff. Maybe the currency should be in Thailand baht, maybe. Yeah. I read somewhere that Sydney Thai Consulate is only accepting... Yeah, that's Mark. Yeah, okay. Yes, it is absolutely crazy. Anyway, we can't complain, but this is just the way. This is the way the cookie crumbles here in Thailand. Sometimes it really does, and really you can complain bitterly about it. But again, they let criminals out of jail because they have money. I'm not going to mention any names. They shut the country down because of that criminal, and yet he's now allowed to walk for free without serving his terms. What the hell? God, this place is just getting crazier and crazier. But yeah, we're still freer than we are. I still feel freer here in Thailand than I do in Australia. Which brings me to the next subject here, which was another article coming through. Look, there is a Thai rough version, but I didn't really want to do the translation. The translation makes less sense. They are cracking down on the less desirables here in Thailand. But again, we were saying that in a few videos recently. Is that like we in Thailand really, it is what I would call freedom to do what you want, when you want, where you want, how you want, as long as you conduct yourself in an orderly manner. What's not happening is the Thai immigration department really don't do enough to get rid of the undesirables. Well, I must say, of course, we did have some undesirables on the lower Sukhumvit there, over the last few months. The Nigerians, well, I'm going to use that term loosely, the Nigerian, expat community proliferating the bottom of the stairwells of the BTS and MRT stations and harassing people, and that finally got cleared up after 3 months, and they kicked them out finally. Ultimately, if you just behave yourself and don't do anything bad, and be a citizen of moral standing, then you get left alone. But unfortunately, because this left alone process is so prolific in Thailand, these criminals, they just think that they got a free rein. There were the 2 Chinese nationals with fake Canadian passports. What else? What was the other ones? Separate law enforcement detained young Pakistani for disseminating explicit images of women whom had romantic relationships with, chased him down. I also read one that was a Farang couple getting down and dirty on a beach somewhere. Really, do people really need to do that in this day and age? Seriously. Morals. We just need to start teaching morals back in school, don't we?
Diminished responsibility.
Diminished responsibility. But yeah, it's good to see the fact that we are getting articles. There has been a spate of these sort of issues over the last few months, and I don't know why it just doesn't instantly just get cracked down on. But again, it's a softly catchy monkey sort of process, which just allows it to continue. Maybe it's, again, there's that backside that maybe there is a whole level of graft that nobody wants to talk about that goes on, and again, Thais don't make much money, and I suppose it all goes around, comes around, Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Yes. Consular Australia, they're swamped with visa applications from the rest of the states in Australia. Yeah. There used to be a consulate in Adelaide and other, and other states, but it is now Sydney and Canberra only. So what do you do? How do you get your visas now? You have to you have to go to Sydney.
When I did mine originally, it's coming up almost 3 years ago now. Wow, how time flies. Oh, excuse me. I had to send my passport to Canberra.
Okay.
With the express package, which is not express anymore, because Australia Post, from my understanding, only delivers every second day now. So, but yeah.
Mm. So just more delays. Again, prison colony Australia, as I keep on referring to. I seriously would not want to live there, work there, or anything else anymore. It's not the Australia I associate with anymore. I love Australia. I love what Australia was back in the 80s. That's my idea of Australia. That's where I grew up. Everything was pretty cool, and you did your shit, you be a good boy, and nothing really goes wrong. Now it's all corporations running the show, and the government just bend down and take it up the proverbial. When are we going to get back to the governments elected by the people for the people? Well, that's America. Well, that doesn't really work in America either, does it? Yes.
Well, the other thing that I saw, and I'll probably get it wrong, is that the minerals and ores are being hard hit in Australia. So I mean, that's a lot of the GDP is the mining industry, and the prices of raw materials has dropped. So that's going to hit a lot of companies.
Well, that's been happening since 2012, wasn't it?
No, apparently this year it's sort of taken a tumble. So
yeah, I don't think I have some blue collar in one of my portfolios, but it's more about industry as opposed to the raw natural resources. Yeah, but yeah. Is it? I'll renew in. Yeah. Yes, Todd, Perth and Brisbane now they have to call the satellite consulates only helping Thai nationals in their respective states. Okay. Apply for e-visa online from Canberra. Okay, so they do have an e-visa service. Okay, I suppose that's positive in one direction. Technically, I think that's where the world is going, because the fact that then they'll link everything up so that less of these fake passports. That's how they got caught. Basically, the guys come in, were detained for possessing two individuals are found with fake passports, planning to travel from Taipei to Vancouver, Canada, with no travel records from Canada. And again, because of the fact that these are disparate systems and they're not interlinked, as they get it more electronically sort of interlinked, like with the banking system, I suppose it's going to be easier to catch all the weird ones that, the fake passports, because that's what happens, It was Thai government's decisions to wind back their consular services in Australia. Okay. Hey, as long as they get paid their $1.50 per hour, I'm happy enough to work here for the next few months. You get that much. Infrastructure Australia reported $100 billion last year and $80 billion for on. So I explain that. Infrastructure Australia reported $100 billion last year, $80 billion on energy projects. Well, this is the thing. I don't think many people understand how the energy system works around the world these days. There are times, well, in America, I'd use the American thing because it's probably not so much in Australia, but in America, they actually pay power stations to turn their generators off. There is so much what they call green energy being produced with solar and wind in most of America now, that you actually, if you feed to the grid when the grid is over wattage, you get charged.
Okay.
So there's obviously new industries being developed around there. I was reading one yesterday of using carbon graphite heat storage, where they heat up carbon blocks when the grid is in a negative. They will heat up these what they call solar batteries, which last for days. They go up to 3,200 degrees Celsius. Good for industry that require heat energy. And that company is doing booming business now, building these what they call solar batteries. They're just an encased graphite system. But the thing, that they charge them up with green energy, but when the grid becomes overcharged, they suck power out of the grid to keep these batteries up, so that they can keep the grid at a zero level. Because there are times in the day where they have to turn the engines off because there's so much solar. Unfortunately, it's not 24/7, so they've got this fluctuation process that goes on. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there on YouTube if you want to go and read about it, and I'll get up to speed on it. I didn't realise it was at that level already, but this is where it's going. We talk about green energy, but you see the graphs on the green energy, and it only seems to be a blip on the total energy consumption globally. But now there are new systems coming in, because throwing a switch in a steel foundry just doesn't work, but solar batteries do, because those solar batteries will melt steel, which is an interesting concept. People don't realise that where we're going with this stuff. It's still good. I still think whether they actually achieve the net green globally 24/7. For everything we do in Australia and the Western countries, France, England, Germany, the United States, everything we do to lower the carbon footprint in those countries, China and India just built another fucking coal power station. It's bizarre when you see some of these graphs. It really is. Anyway, I didn't really want to go down the tunnel of the green energy thing, because it's, people don't believe it, but the data does exist if you go and research it. Anyway, I'm not sure about the exact. Heard about the mining looking good. David, g'day Dave. Oh, Dave, I already said hello to Dave. For all, do you use two-factor authentication for Thailand mobile phone banking apps? Well, yes. I've got what they call fingerprint and face recognition ID on mine, and when I'm doing any purchase over 300 baht requires a password, which is a secondary authentication on top of the app. I don't have the OTP authentication on that because that's just too inconvenient. I believe I can enable that, but if you really want to go that, I'm using, I don't carry cash. I carry probably no more than 1,000 baht in my wallet any one time now, because I just pull the freaking phone out and just scan it, because everybody takes scan code, But when it comes to banking, I do have the 2FA authentication. Anywhere that has 2FA, I have 2FA. I've talked about this before. If you're not using something like this, a vault for all your passwords, where every account there has a different password, then you open yourself up to a complete world of hurt, right? If my Twitch account gets hacked, it doesn't mean my NAB account gets hacked, if you know what I mean. My Google account just gets hacked. Yeah, and I also store Shania's password details because she couldn't remember her password. She can't remember what day of the week it is half the time. But yeah, so yeah, when you've been on the internet as long as I have, there's no way you can remember all these passwords, okay? But if you don't use one, you are opening yourself up to a world of hurt. I use Lastpass. Lastpass has been in the news a few times over the years, but at no time have the personal details been lost because of the master password, obfuscated hashed account details, and 2FA on top of that. So, I feel safe with it. Every person's account details inside their system is hashed against your personal password, which you never divulge. So there's only one password I remember, which is my password to get into LastPass. Makes my life a lot easier. But yeah, it does cost you for LastPass. I'm not quite sure what the fees are. It's $38 US a year. It's a peace of mind. There are other ones out there. I'm not trying to. I said if I could give you a referral to LastPass and make a buck, I'd do that. But they don't have that ability. Some of them do, but I prefer to trust one that seems to be always on top of shit. Yeah. No. Use a password manager, guys. That's all I can say. There's another little clue. If you're not using one, then I pity you when things go wrong. Sorry, but not much I can do. I can say, I told you so. I told you so. Where are we now? We only use cash. Yeah, well, again, that's another way. Cash works. It's you only lose what's in your wallet if you lose your wallet. I don't believe in a cashless society, but I do believe in a convenience society where, as long as the banks aren't taking a per diem off the top of every transaction, I'm happy with that. But that doesn't happen in Australia. Any transaction in Australia seems to have a charge against it, doesn't it now? Yeah.
I haven't purchased anything in Australia, but someone's done that with my bank recently. So.
Yeah, well, apart from them, yeah. But yeah, so LastPass, there are other ones out there. Definitely look into it. Pay the piper and get some protection. Do not leave passwords in your browser. That's the main point. Do not leave passwords in your browser. Because they can script what they call cross-domain authentication, steal one password to log you into weird things that you don't want to be logged into. That's all I can say, right? So don't use passwords and cross-site authentication. If you've got a Facebook account, use it in Facebook. Don't log into another site with your Facebook account. If your Facebook account gets hacked, that's it. You can't get into those other sites. End of story. It's the way it works. This is what they paid me the big bucks for, to try to tell people shit and protect their organisations, so that this didn't happen. Mind you, 99% of hacks into corporate Australia or around the world these days are all done by just that careless email that seems to slip through the firewall system to say, and look, if you only click here, we'll guarantee you're going to win $5,000. Well, guess what? You're not. You're just not. That's it, right? And when you're doing those quizzes on Facebook, what star sign are you? Who are you compatible with? Well, they're collecting data on you guys. So don't do them. right? You don't need to know what your star sign is. You don't need to know what your IQ level is. You don't need to know this sort of stuff. You just need to live life. Stop trying to do these stupid freaking quizzes that are scamming all your details. Right? They're farming personal details about you, which potentially allow them to hack your account with, knowing the name of your first dog, as your protected password thing. Oh my God. I don't know. People just think the fact that money grows on trees, I'm sure. Anyway, yeah, third article I've got here, and this seems to be gaining a lot of momentum now. In a bid to assert greater control of recreational cannabis consumption, Thailand is set to impose a ban by the end of the year, according to statements from the country's health minister in an exclusive interview with Reuters. Yeah, this guy here he's on a rampage to do it, but 70% of the Thailand generally can't give a damn about it. This is a political stunt. It's got nothing to do with what Thai people want. But again, we've got a government that the Thai people don't want. So what can you do about it? Just cut the feed on tariff and solar during the day due to exactly Bruce. Yeah, exactly, Mark. But most of Robert's yes. I need to change the colour of Nightbot so I can see the ones that are different. I can see the links in it. Don't even carry a wallet, Mark. Yes, B carries the money. Yeah, give it to the woman. She'll look after it. OnePass is a password manager app. Yes, nothing is 100% perfect, but it's another layer of protection. Yes. Well, getting back to that, like when you start to think of passwords themselves, well, that's probably not a good example. If I just go there and say generator, it does have this generator, right? So it generates these weird passwords, right, that mean nothing to anybody, right? But they are like for a standard Cray, a Cray of 2023 vintage, a 16 character obfuscated password still takes a Cray about 38,000 years to crack. It can get lucky, but yeah, people don't have those resources. Mind you, if they ever get quantum computing off the ground, then forget about it. It'll be all over bar the shouting, won't it? Yeah, and I use 16 characters, lowercase, uppercase numbers and randomized symbols. Still amazed by how many sites you'll go into that won't let you later use a randomized symbol.
Randomized symbol, yeah.
Well, come up to speed. Any site that doesn't do that, you've got to be wary of the site themselves, obviously using old code. And these are little clues I can tell. Like I said, I'm all the clue guy to tell you how to have a safer experience on the internet. But these are the sort of things you've got to look for, making sure you can use those special little passwords that really mean nothing, because it actually, when you look at the alphanumeric there's only 52 characters there, and there's plus another 10 numbers to choose from. But if you can use symbols, guess what? You've got the full 256 characters that the Cray's got to crunch before it can crack the password, if you know what I mean. But it's all about numbers. It's all math. Don't talk to me about maths. Anyway, moving right along. So what's your thoughts about the whole cannabis thing? That's what I don't give a damn. Okay, I might have had a couple of tokes last night because it was being passed around the table. It was fun, but it's like, what's the difference between having a beer with your friends and having a toke with your friends? The whole idea of smoking daily just to pacify the wolf on the shoulder. I got over that. I got bored with it. How boring! The landscape now boasts an abundance of 10,000 cannabis outlets. The industry projections soaring to a momentous 1.2 billion valuation for the upcoming financial year. However, amidst the exponential growth, the Thai government is moving forward with drafting a comprehensive law designed to oversee cannabis consumption, slated for enactment by the end of the year. And of course, I've already been told. I've talked to my friends up the guys that I talk to there. These medical certificates are fairly easy to obtain. And basically, I think if you're over 18, the doctors are just going to write them anyway. You know, they want to stop the underage consumption, and I'm quite all for that. I think that minors and people who aren't eligible to vote don't have a say in the matter, and you should not be partaking in it. You need to formulate your own ideas rather than sort of get a bit weird, because your friends do. My thought: ban all cannabis, reduce the price of beer. What? Reduce only Chung beer? Only reduce Chung beer? What about Leo beer? Come on, if you're going to reduce one price of beer, you're going to reduce the price of all beer. Actually, I think they've just done that anyway. I think they've removed some excise tax recently. There was a 10% excise tax on beer, and that's been reduced. So we should see cheaper beer by about 10% on the shops soon enough.
Was that import beer or was that local beer?
When I was reading that, I don't know if I can get. I might be able to get it because, there is a feed I have where I get these. That's not IMD. I don't want IMD. I want give me.
Gloves are off, Mayor Groves. Ban all Leo beer. Don't think so.
Ban Leo, yeah. There is Eastern now does have a news service which does email you on a regular basis. Oh, there we go. It's a tax cut on local liquor. What was the actual? Yeah, you can subscribe to this news feed. Then you don't have to watch my Saturday morning live feed, okay? Because you're going to get the same stuff I'm going to talk about. I just cherry picking. Let's have a look at the Patia news. Local liquor to boost tourism, mixed reaction from industry. On February 23rd, Mr. whatever his name is, the Director General of the Excise Republic, announced the adjustment of excise taxes and duty structure on local liquor effective 23rd of February to promote Thailand as central hub. Right, so which one was the beer? I need to get at my camera now. One of them was beer. I think that was beer there, the top one. Right, so maybe we'll get it. Do we get a? No, we're not going to get a. We're not going to get an English version of it. But yeah, so it's gone down somewhere from 10 to 0 for anything under 1,500 baht purchase, and it's anything over or something like that. But yeah, so there has been a lowering pricing on beer, so that'll probably make Robert very happy. But yeah, that's another little thing. If you want to catch up with what's going on, okay, it might be ASIN now, which used to be, what's it, Thai Visa. It's a news service run out of America, so it has no oversight from Thailand at all. I think they've been hit up from Thailand government a few times about keep it under control, because the comment sections in that get a little bit narcissistic, for want of a better word. But yeah, it's a handy little sort of news service. Keeps you, the things that go on. Like there was a mass shooting up in Isan yesterday. This place is becoming more and more about like America every week, isn't it? I think that's the thing. They just want to copy America everything, don't they?
Don't know. But again, I still feel safer walking. Like I had no issues walking the streets of Pattaya at night.
Yeah.
Didn't feel any untoward pressure to do anything or be anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's all about how you handle yourself.
It is. It's about.
If you walk around sort of wide mouth going, oh wow, people are going to look at you and go, first time, fresh meat.
Yes, Robert. It is a bit weird. With this 2 p.m. to 5 beam, but again, I can put the other hat on, and well, we do want the people coming home after lunch or going back to work after lunch, and bringing home the bacon for the wife so they can put food on the table rather than them stopping off at their mate's place and drinking half a dozen beers. I can see that point of view, right? And as we know, Thai people don't plan ahead at all, really. That's the only way I can describe it. Planning, I said just for our meet-up on Wednesday with Jen, so I explained that to her a week ago, and 6 days ago, and 5 days ago, 4 days, blah blah blah, right? She still had an appointment Wednesday morning for a special makeup thing with Bumika, which got cancelled the night before anyway. But, you know, so here's us trying to adjust, you know, what time are we going to have lunch? Well, 12, no, I can't do it at 12 because you're going to have an appointment, so you're going to have to come home and get makeup on. Then it's going to be 2 o'clock. Okay, now, but now she wants to do it 1 o'clock, and then, you know, this is happening a 24-hour period. Can we just have it just... The whole idea is just time, you know. I can't mind meld with you to be flexible enough to be able to share that information with other people. Okay, we say a time and we stick to the time. We can be traditionally Thai late, but let's just not be Thai late for people who are not used to it. You know, Thailand. There's the only real challenges I have here is just trying to keep a time signature going. You know. Anyway, so that law was passed in 1972. You would think they would possibly move in with the times. Thank God we have mum and dad shops. Yes, exactly. And that again, you know, if they brought it in, then of course, what would happen to those mum and pop shops? They would start disappearing because I'm pretty sure they only function for that simple. You know, they don't keep milk in the fridge. If I want to get a bottle of milk for my coffee, I've got to go up to 7-Eleven. But if I want a beer, I just got to walk out the door. You know, now if you started carrying milk, but then of course I think about it. Well, milk has an expiry date. Beer doesn't.
Yep.
Well, beer does technically, but let's not go there. But you know, like you can keep beer in the fridge for a couple of years, where you can't keep milk in the fridge for a couple of years, and unless of course there's a lot of people drinking the milk, then you're going to get an off bottle once in a while. So yeah, I'll just go to 7-Eleven. Thank you very much.
I'm in Marky Mark's situation.
Yeah, I'm forced to go to bars. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But Jorgen, good morning, Jorgen. He's one of my favourite patrons here. How you doing today, mate? Coming in a bit late, aren't you? It's been fitful, yeah. I heard that, Mark, and they carry you out kicking and screaming at the closing time.
Mark doesn't make closing time. Sorry, mate. Cat's out of the bag.
I hope there's no video evidence of that, or there is.
No
video evidence.
No.
Got to get some video evidence on that one. Blackmail.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they did reduce the excise on certain beverages to help, you know, make people feel better. You know that they're doing something positive. Yeah, well, they're doing positive for the beer industry and keeping the beer oligarchs, you know, in business, but they're not doing anything about the cannabis oligarchs who are trying to be better than the beer oligarchs. But hey, such is life. The video will be somewhere on Facebook. Okay, send me a link. All good. So it's well, we're getting to our normal closing time. Any questions before we bow out? You know, we've got what have we got coming up? I think I've pre-released. We've got a pre-release video out there for the members, Patreons, and the people who follow my page on Facebook. Whereas if I go to Facebook, where is it? Facebook. I'll plug again. Plugs away. Don't forget we have the Thailand Vloggers Hub, right, which is the group I run. I'm fairly strict with their participant requests. I do approve everything. Everything is monitored. You have to conduct yourself for a good month, right, posting only Thailand related content before you'll get automatic posting. I keep it clean and above board. I also keep events, and we have our events calendar. We always post our meetup, the Down Under meetup. Oh, yeah, Jerome popped into the meetup last night as well. Jerome from Bangkok Expat, and Global Travel Mate. He's got 3 channels, and I've forgotten the name of the 3rd channel. I'm pretty sure I'll find it. But yeah, he dropped in. We had a good chat. Because he stopped doing his meetup as well. He was doing a YouTuber's meetup. He ran it for 4 months there. We ran it for technically for 6 months. But he had the others joining in. But as we were explaining last night, you need a core group who commit to it for making these things work. You know, like I've been committed to that with Jerry and the others who are in our group, and we are committed to do that once a month. Jerry's meetup which he does through the meetup.com website. Again, we've got a core of participants there that always turn up. So it's not like, somebody's going to see the post for the event and then go there and nobody's going to be there. And that's really one of the key elements, which is what Jerome, experienced. He sort of wrangled in, Bangkok Pat and a couple of others to participate, which they did for a couple of months. But, things got in the way, life gets in the way, and they got their own things to do. And so it ended up just being him hosting it. And, he didn't know anybody turning up. Sort of makes a little bit of a no-win situation there. And, I said, what you need to do is probably do that once every 6 months, do it as a biannual event, and we just get everybody involved. I'll definitely plug in if it's convenient, but, I've got to travel an hour and a half to get there, so keep that in mind. But I don't mind, plugging in and being part of the crew, when these things are on. And he's got that down on his little notepad to say cool and present and everything else. And yeah, I post this General into the Gen Desperado in Thailand, or I think the name of the video is Lunch on the River with the General. That'll get a few clicks just on the title, hopefully. We did talk about clickbait in the video.
Yeah, I hate it. I really do. I mean, the one thing I'm going back into is my arcade retro things and stuff like that, and the amount of clickbait when it says, I want to repair a 5121 IC chip on a Commodore 64, how to? And you just get taken to sites that are trying to sell you chips
I know,
and everything
yeah.
like that. It's just like...
That's why I've tried this. That's why I've tried to keep mine, Aussie, what you see is what you get. I'm not going to play that game, and I'm quite happy to help anybody out and build a community. Okay, maybe my channel will blow up. I don't know, one of these days. Well, Johnny has his style, and that's Johnny's style. I don't like the style, but there's no rules, right? I think Veritasium did a video a couple of years ago. There is what we call clickbait, and we've also got legit bait, Now I would call that legit bait because, Michael is known as General Desperado or Gen Desperado on Twitch, right? It's all above board, but it's interest bait. People are going to click on to find out what general, who general, but we explained that that's General Gen Desperado. He's a Twitch partner, not just a Twitch streamer. He's a Twitch partner. He's done the hard slog, and he's now what they call partner level, which is, it's like in YouTube land, when you get to 100,000 subscribers, right, you get this special little silver plaque. That's the equivalent he's got to in Twitch. So he's a Twitch partner. I'm only an affiliate. I got to the affiliate level a couple of weeks ago. But that journey from affiliate to partner, it's a 2-year slog, and you've got to commit to it. It's 4 days a week. It's like a job, right? Building your audience until you get to that, and you've got certain things and criteria to get to and to achieve and things like that before you to get that elite status. But he's a great bloke. He's a Patreon on my channel. I'm a subscriber, not just a follower on his channel, so it goes both ways. And we talk about that too. Anyway, that video is it's up on my page, which is, if you're not following my page, why aren't you following my page? You'll always get pre-release notice out there as well. My page, which is there. Yeah, so we do post there. It goes to the Patreons and members as well. So you can always get advanced screening. We always try to take care of our friends. And of course, if you run our Discord, you've got a link in our Discord too. Doesn't go public until I switch it on YouTube. Anyway, enough of the advertising for today. What else have we got? Jorgen's off to bed. Okay, guys, have to run, taking our friends out. Have a good day, Robert. Hope to catch you next week. Cheers all, have enjoy. I've got to go and get the song. Where's the music? Closing screen. and 55, 56, 57, 58. We're out of here. Peace out, guys. See you next week. Don't forget, we'll be on Twitch in half an hour if you really want us to have a more yacky to yak, whatever you want to talk about. We'll be here, just on a different channel. That's all. Peace out. Stay cool.